Hi, everyone. My name is Carol Richard. I'm from PEI Canada, and I'm a EFT practitioner, but also a sleep mindset coach and emotional success coach. And all of that to say that I love helping people sleep, helping them change their mindset around sleep. And I'm excited to be here today with my colleague, Elena, so that we can talk and share our journey with sleep, along with little tidbits on how you can get your sleep back on track. Elena?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Carol. I'm really excited about this conversation. And a few words about me. I'm Elena Jacinta, a trauma-informed somatic practitioner, helping people with symptoms of chronic stress and trauma, including sleep problems, sleep issues. And I'm calling from Chiang Mai, Thailand, although I come from Latvia in Northeastern Europe. And yeah,
this is what is so amazing to me, right? Here we are, we're on both ends of the world. We're actually, I believe, 12 hours apart or 11 hours apart.
Yeah, 11 hours.
11. And we're able to do this and share our journey because it's so important for people in 2022 to learn how to sleep again. It's when I look out into the world, it really hurts my heart to see how many people aren't sleeping. And so my intention with this conversation today is that we both share inspiration for people who aren't sleeping. So first, we're going to start with your sleep journey. What were you struggling with? What did that look like for you? And what was your turning point when you decided to start fixing your sleep? And what did you do? What kind of changes did you have to make in your life? I can't wait to hear your story.
Sure. Well, I faced several sleep issues throughout my life, and usually they were related to some kind of stress, life changes, or sometimes positive changes in my life. But the most major issue was when there were certain changes in my life related to career change, moving to a new country, starting a new job. So all of this was pretty exciting, and there was no specific event that caused my sleep to deteriorate. But over the course of months and several years, I noticed that my sleep was getting worse and worse. Mm-hmm. And at one point, I've just noticed that first, I cannot sleep properly. I hardly have any energy. I developed chronic fatigue, all kinds of symptoms. I had no explanation. Like why is it happening? Why do I have extreme sensitivity to temperature change or like sounds? Why do I have low-grade fever? Or like, and I could not understand what was causing what. And so from that place, I started searching what was the reason. I stumbled upon information about somatics. Well, I knew about somatics already, but I learned about somatic experiencing. So I learned about how trauma is stored in the body, and I realized that all those series of stressful events, they were actually related to resurfacing trauma. And once I realized how all these symptoms are just they're symptoms of dysregulated nervous system. And this is when I started searching for ways to put it back on track, soothe my nervous system through different modalities, different approaches.
And I like that part because what we don't realize is our nervous system is dysregulated. And that's why partnering with you excites me, because we have the same mindset when it comes to regulating our nervous system. We just do it differently. What changes did you make in your life that got you back on track? Like, what did that look like because I get it. Like, once we realize like we're in trouble, we need to change. What was those changes that you made?
Well, there were quite a lot of small and big changes. So I started with finding ways how to calm myself down so I can actually sleep. So One of the practices that I really loved and really helped me was yin yoga, a passive form of yoga,
Yes.
which I was introduced a while ago, and really helped me. Also, considering that I had very low energy, so I couldn't do much. When somebody, if somebody were to suggest physical exercises, I would say I cannot do that. Yeah. But passive form of yoga allowed my body to relax. I would just get into a seated or reclined pose and notice my body soften, and also my mind calming down. Doing it sometimes in bed at night when I would wake up in the middle of the night. And yeah, that would help me to calm down and go back to sleep. Trying different somatic tools from Dr. Peter Levine's book, so to regulate the nervous system, but also making real life changes, like looking at my daily routine. What activities are actually overstimulating me? What I need to change? What do I need to let go of? Looking at my whole life, basically. And that was not like 1 day or 1 month process, sorting out my life, making sure that things like job or finances don't stress me out, or, I have a stable life and relationships and all of those things, which sometimes we forget how much they affect our life, health, and sleep.
They do. Yeah,
How
they really do. So my story is similar, but a bit different. And so the key elements that I'm going to kind of bring forth in my story that are also in yours is the stress level and not being able to know how to deal with the stress. What happened to me was, I don't think I was ever really a good sleeper, but I didn't struggle in a sense of like, I could get decent sleep and I was functioning properly. And I was very active, and I was active in my community. I was a youth leader. I did a lot of things. And then I got put into a job at work that I was really, really good at. And because I was really, really good at, it just piled on, and I became the go-to person for this project that we were doing. And so back in like 2014, when I started this project, at first I was like, oh, this is stressful, but it's good. So it was good stress at the beginning, but it turned into a total nightmare, that job. Not because of my supervisors. And I say this all the time, because if they ever listen to this, I had the best supervisor in the world. I had the best manager in the world, the best colleagues in the world. The project was the stress, the workload. And so I started bringing work home. And I would say like around 2015, I started struggling with sleep. And like anybody else, a bad night here and there, you first think, oh, okay, I'll get over it. But the worse the job got, the bigger the project got, the less I started sleeping. And I'm the type of person that takes on people's worries on. And so part of the job, so to put this in context for people, was that if the system I was working in didn't work properly, people wouldn't get paid. And so knowing that people wouldn't get paid really created stress in me, because I wasn't worried about my financial situation, but I was worried about other people's financial situation. And once you start worrying about other people, then you start to spiral down. And so I worked in that high stress environment for over 2 years. And the things that I would say is like, if I could just shut my brain off, because I'm such an analytical person. And so I would get excited with a report that would give us information, but then I would be doing that at home at 9 o'clock at night, which was not when to be doing this really heavy brain report. And my turning point was when the stress was so high in my body that I started having physical symptoms. And at first it wasn't a whole lot. Like I hadn't had a cold or been on antibiotics for anything for like over 5 years. And all of a sudden it was one after the other after the other. And the last week I worked, I actually lost a sensation in my hands and feet from the stress. And so I remember April 9th, 2017, when I left work that Sunday, I knew that I was going to not go back to work, but no one else knew that. And on April 10th, when I went to see my doctor, that's when she said, you have to stop working. I shared this part of my story because I want people to know that even though it was that bad, I'm totally healthy today. That lacking sleep back then didn't actually permanently damage my body. Once you get back on track and you start sleeping, our body has the ability to fix and heal itself, right? So I was at that low that my body was breaking down, and I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my life right now. So I want people to know that, right? Even if you're struggling, we can change this. So that was my turning point. Was today I walked out of that office that day. I knew that I needed changes. I knew that if I didn't change my life, that it was just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. And I wasn't prepared for that. I just didn't want that. So like you, I started researching. And while I was home trying to recuperate from not working, I decided to paint my house from top to bottom because I didn't know how to sit. I didn't know how to just be. And when I stopped working, I started having panic attacks. I didn't have them while I was working, but when I stopped, because what we know about the nervous system now is I was go, 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 go. And I never gave it that calm state. And all of a sudden I had all this free time and I didn't know what to do with myself. So my nervous system would have panic attack after panic attack because it would be like, oh, you're not safe right now. You're not doing something. You're not active. You're not. So I painted the house. And I heard Nick Hortner talk about tapping. And I thought, okay, so that's kind of cool. I'm going to try this. And I was into energy work before, and I loved Reiki. And I used to go to Forever Healthy here. It's an energy modality that this lady does. And I started tapping. And in 3 weeks of tapping, listening to Nick Hortner, I not only got rid of all my panic attacks, I then started sleeping without a sleeping pill because I was taking 2 sleeping pills just to be able to fall asleep. One wasn't enough. I had to take 2. And all of a sudden I fell asleep on the couch and woke up and I was like, wow, what just happened? And then my analytical mind went, what happened? Yeah. Was it the tapping? How did it work? And all of it is because it regulates the nervous system. It reduces the stress in your body, right? Yeah. So it was, I always say it's the worst period of my life, but also the best time in my life because I learned so much from what I want. And so I no longer have that stressful job, obviously. I changed my life into, like you, looking at what do I need to do to still be financially stable so that I can build then the career of my dreams. I've always loved helping people. And that's how I became a sleep mindset coach, because I was like, I understand when people say they're not sleeping. I totally get it. And I can help them with that. Yeah. And so that's my story.
It's amazing. Yeah. And just listening to your story, thinking that how often really dark moments of our life become our greatest lessons, right? And also source of knowledge that we can share with the world. And also listening to the body, like it's amazing how the body keeps communicating with us all the time, and just
all the time.
Matter of listening and acting on.
And I think we're so busy as a society here in Canada anyway, but I think across the world, we're so busy that we don't take the time to stop and listen to our bodies, to our mind. So I got a question for you. So what advice would you give if you could go back in time? What advice would you give yourself? If you were to like be your sleep coach.
This is the advice I keep giving myself. I keep reminding myself of even now, and it's taking my health seriously. Yes. I don't know about you, but in the society I grew up in, there are a lot of health issues, which are kind of minor health issues, and sleep would be one of those. Having low energy, which people just live with, and it's okay, and they just they learn to cope with them. And sometimes we forget that this is important. This is exactly what I was saying just now, that the body's saying, pay attention. Something is not right. Something needs to be reconsidered. And it's just really learning to listen. And I know that saying listen to your body, sometimes it may sound like, sound like nothing. How do we do it? How do we how do we decode all those messages or all those sensations and all those symptoms that we have? And it takes time, it takes patience, but just coming back to yourself. And
yeah. What advice would I give myself if I could go back in time? The world is not mine to save. It's the one that's popping into my mind right now, because I really believed that no one else could do my job. I really believe that, and the reason for that is because it was all in my mind. And there was parts of it that it's true that I was really good at, but I believed it was all on me to save the world. And to go back, I probably would do it the same, with the exception of sharing more of my knowledge with other people so that they could take over when I was sick. So it would be like, it's not my job to save the world. And so what I know now, going back now, is when you put your self-care and yourself and you listen to your body first, then you can save the world. But you can't save the world if you don't replenish yourself. And so that is the biggest message, is take care of you first. And then I got to be a better mom. I got to be a better employee. I got to be an entrepreneur because I was taking care of me first. I was a better spouse, a better daughter. You just become better in every way, but you can't do that without sleep. Like, sleep is number one. Yes, nutrition counts. Yes, exercise counts, but sleep is the top of the pyramid for me when it comes to looking at what we need to function.
Yeah. And I was wondering, as a sleep coach working with other people who struggle with insomnia, with sleep problems, are there any mistakes that you notice that people make consistently as it relates to their sleep? Is there anything you would like to share?
I think the biggest mistake, so I see mistakes in two ways. I see the mistakes that are like physical or external, and then the mistakes that are internal, right?
Yeah.
And so on the external kind of areas of mistakes that I see people do, which is the same that I did, drinking coffee all day long, and then not realizing that caffeine stays in your brain. 50% of the caffeine stays in your brain for like 8 hours. So it means that you're still processing the caffeine out. Like, to me, that was a light bulb moment that was like, oh my Lord, I've been drinking coffee 5 or 6 a day to keep going, because believing that that was helping. The other external mistake that I've done that I see other people do is having an alcoholic beverage before bed, thinking that it's going to help them sleep, but it breaks up their REM sleep, right? So they're never getting that restorative sleep that they need, because the alcohol disrupts their sleep. Internally, what I see people do, which I did as well, is believe that there's no way out. And when you're sleep deprived, you believe there's no way out. True story. Like, people aren't making it up when they say, I can't sleep. And it's funny, because this morning when I was in the shower, I was thinking, I always have this, have you ever question that pops into my mind. And the question that popped into my mind was, have you ever been so sleep deprived and tired, and someone tells you to just go to bed earlier? Don't you just want to strangle them?
Oh, yes.
Because it's not easy for someone who struggles with sleep to go to bed and go to sleep. And because we don't believe we can, right? We don't have this trust in our sleep. We don't prioritize our sleep. We don't know how, because we're so sleep deprived and we can't do it. And that's where we come in. We are here to help them with that, right? So what kind of things do you see in people that they are doing that it's affecting their sleep without them realizing?
All of those things which you mentioned, just to add to it, that sometimes when people start taking care of their habits, for example, stop drinking coffee, or stop overworking before bed, for example, but then forgetting taking care of the body, or vice versa. Like, they do all the relaxation exercises. They try to calm down. They would drink relaxing teas, but then forgetting that there's something missing in their routine. That needs to be reconsidered. Another thing is when people actually start searching for ways to improve their sleep. sometimes I notice people choose one or two remedies or pieces of advice, and they expect lasting results, which I haven't seen it working. For example, trying some supplements or trying a sleep meditation, which are great, and I use them as tools, but them alone, they alone won't make lasting changes. So the whole problem needs to be looked like from different angles, and like holistic approach will be needed.
Totally agree. Yeah. And my approach to working with people. So when I start working with someone, I look at three things. And I always say this, and if you look at some of my recent videos, right, we need 3 shifts to happen for your sleep to get back. You need a shift in your emotion and your stress level, right? Once we start shifting your stress level and using tapping for me, but you have different ways, regulating our nervous system, keeping track of our nervous system. What are we feeling during the day? So starting with becoming aware, and then we have to have a shift in our mindset. We have to trust and value our sleep, and we have to believe that we are worth it. Because a lot of us, I've had clients say to me, well, I don't value my sleep. Well, then you have to figure out a way to value your sleep. So having an exercise of, why is it important for me to sleep? Just putting that in your journal. And then, why is it important for me to sleep? Well, it's important for me to sleep because, my children need me. It's important for me to sleep because my health is deteriorating and I need that sleep for my health. And starting with that. So that's the mindset shift. And the third shift we need is a shift in our behaviors. And so, it goes from emotions to mindset to behaviors. And in the program that I run, like, we look at all 3 and integrate them. And because it's different for everybody. For someone, they might only need the shift in behaviors because they have the good mindset and they're not really stressed, but their behaviors are causing the lack of sleep. So it's really looking at that holistic approach like you, and which area are we focusing on? And in my sessions with clients, we do a lot of tapping. And I teach them how to tap for themselves so that they can use it either before bed. What happens if they wake up through the night? We go through all of that, but it's individual by each client, because it depends, what is going on in their life. So we kind of uncover the stressors and help them make change to. So what is your approach? Because I know I can't wait to hear, like, how do you work as a somatic practitioner to help them with sleep?
Right. So as a somatic practitioner, and especially trauma-informed somatic practitioner, I work with the body first. And actually, I use 2 approaches, where somatic is the primary one, the main one. And it is called bottom up, meaning with the starting with the body and going all the way up to your mind. So we work with the mind, but start with the body. And this is the approach I use in my private session. This is the main block of my sleep program as well. And I combine several body, mind, or body-oriented modalities, such as trauma-informed yoga, EFT tapping as well, and somatic experiencing. And so what it does, it takes care of the nervous system through the physical activity, and we do it slowly. We do it gradually. This is what the trauma-informed approach is. It has to be safe for the nervous system. It cannot be too fast, too soon, because this is what trauma is about.
Right.
And these physical exercises or physical tools help to regulate the nervous system, release the excess charge. So it's all this overstimulation and all this charge that we store in the body. So we learn to release it through these different tools. And finding ways to settle, because this relaxation response needs to we need to remind ourselves how to turn the relaxation response back on.
We do. That we're a hyped up society. So we do need to learn how to settle.
Yeah. Another part of my program, which is more like a complementary one, it's looking at the habits, looking at the beliefs and behavior as well. But that is more part of the independent work. It's something that I do through email coaching. Yeah, so
Oh,
it would
okay.
be complementing the somatic approach in the private one-on-one sessions.
And what I
Yeah.
love the fact that we have two different approaches, and yet well, I'm assuming you get good results, because how can you not when you start with the body? And every individual out there is different and needs a different approach.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we do the same work but differently, it just lights me up, because I know together we can reach as many people as we can to help them sleep better. And I always say, when you sleep, life just gets magical, right? Like it does.
It
All right.
does.
So as we're kind of wrapping up here, just how can people reach you if they wanted to work with you and try out your approach? What are your contact information? We'll also put them in the description of this video,
Sure.
but how can people reach you?
Well, the easiest way is to type my website name, backtoyourbody.org. So back to your body is like what I started with when I was struggling with all those different physical symptoms, including sleep, coming back to my own body in order to solve those issues. So backtoyourbody.org. You can book a free session with me and complete my sleep survey, and then I'll guide you through it. And
Cool.
we'll start from there.
We'll start from there.
How
And
about you?
same for me. If people want to reach me, it's the easiest way is through my website as well, tappingintosleep.com. And then from there, there's a work with Carol tab that they can kind of connect with me as well for free. I call it an optimal sleep assessment. Let's see if I can help you. Because you have to make sure that when you pick someone to work with, so I'm saying this to the general public listening to this, pick someone that makes you feel safe.
Yeah.
And so that first conversation with me is, are you feeling comfortable with me? And am I able to help you? Because I don't know about you, but if you're coming to me because you're snoring, well, I can't help you. I need you to go see a medical practitioner or have a sleep study done. But if you're not sleeping because of stress, then I can help you. So that first meeting is very important, to see if I can help you. And if I can't, I will be referring you to someone who can. So same with me, like book a free consultation and let's chat first to see if I'm the right one, because that's so important. That's so key, because I might not be the person. And if I feel that I'm not, I will be honest with that and tell you, maybe you need this or maybe you need that. Cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Thank you
really
so
love,
much.
I really love chatting with you, Elena. I look forward to how we will collaborate in the future, because I think it's important for us to bring our message to the world full force in 2022.
Yes, I agree. And just to wrap it up with a message, which you started this whole conversation with, is that it's totally possible to get your sleep back on track. It really is.
I just got like a shiver from the bottom of my feet right up when you said that. Like, it's totally possible. You just have to make the changes needed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to trust and believe that you are worth it. And Elena and here are here to help you guys. So reach out.